Hello everyone, once again I am here with a new class which is related for the 10th class, that is the first chapter, uh, that is chemical reaction and equations. Myself Maktumula. Today we are going to discuss about the chemical reaction and equations. Let's begin the video. Okay, first of all we are going to say the introduction. Okay. What is the chemical reaction here? Chemical reaction is a process in which one or more reactant are converted to one or more product. Chemical reaction is, that is here, the one or more reactant are going to convert, they combine with each other to form a new compound or the new product is known as the chemical reaction. Means two elements going to combine with each other to form a new compound or the new element or the new product, that is known as the chemical reaction. Here during chemical reactions, chemical changes are take place. Means the substances that undergoes a chemical change are called a reactant. And what is the reactant? Reactant means the substances that undergoes chemical change, means the element which themselves changes into another compound or the another product, they are known as the reactant here. For example, here we are going to see here, there are the two small dots, they combined with the red dots to form a new product. The gray color dots and the red color dots are known as a reactant. Here below there is an equation, that is the H2 plus O2 to form H2O. H2O means water. Hydrogen is an element and oxygen also is an element. These two elements are known as a reactant. Why? Because the hydrogen and oxygen goes under chemical change. They are known as a reactant. If we see the equation carefully, the right hand side, the elements are the compound substances known as the product. Right hand side elements or the substances, they are known as a product. If we see the left hand side, the elements are known as the reactant. That are example here we are going to take that the hydrogen and oxygen, they combined each other to form the water molecules. Hydrogen and oxygen is known as a reactants here. Remember that chemical reaction, it is a process in which one or more reactant are converted to one or more products here. If we see the example here, hydrogen is a one element, oxygen is also a element, they combined each other, they react each other to form the new compound name as H2O, that is the water. By the definition we get a clear idea here, that is the two elements or two reactants combined each other to convert into or to change into a new product, that is hydrogen and oxygen are the reactants which undergoes chemical changes to form a compound. Okay, compound is on right hand side, or product we can say, that are the right hand sides are known as the product and left hand sides are known as a reactant. Okay, next, how do we identify the chemical reaction? If you combine the two elements with each other, if we make to react the element with each other, then how we come to know that there is a chemical reaction happened? By this point we are going to conclude that, we are going to confirm that the chemical reaction is happened or the chemical changes has happened here. First one, if there is a chemical reaction, there is a change in the state. If the chemical reaction happened, the change in color by evolution of gas, the change in temperature, we confirm that, we identify that there is a change, there is something is changed from one state to the another state, or there is a chemical reaction is happened in between two elements or two reactant. When we are going to see these points, change in state, change in color, evolution of gas, change in temperature. By these 4 points, we going to confirm that there is a chemical action is took place. Okay. Next, how we are going to write the chemical reaction? Before that, we have to know every element's symbol here. If we know the element's symbol, this is very easier to write the chemical reaction. There are 108 into 19 elements. We must know all the elements symbols. Then it's help us to write the chemical equations. Then how we are going to write the chemical equation? Right. Let's see here. Chemical equation represent a chemical reaction. The equation represents the chemical reaction here. If we recall, this is the previous knowledge. If we recall the magnesium oxide, we write equation as follows here. If we write the magnesium oxide in the form of an equation, we write here as follows. There is a picture, we can see that the magnesium means Mg plus oxygen, it gives the magnesium oxide. This is the equation which represent the chemical reaction. Look here, magnesium is an element, oxygen is an element. They combined each other to form a product by name magnesium oxide. Magnesium is a reactant, oxygen is also a reactant. They form a new compound, that is a magnesium oxide. We write the equation by using their symbols. The symbol of a magnesium is Mg and the symbol of the oxygen is O2. By using these symbols, we can write the equation. Okay. Magnesium is a reactant, oxygen is also a reactant. They combined each other to form a new product by the name of the product is magnesium oxide here. Okay, we move further here. Then there are the many type of chemical reactions. Here we see some chemical reactions here, that is the combination reaction, that is the decomposition reaction, that is the displacement reaction, that is the double displacement reaction, and endothermic reaction and exothermic reaction. These all are the types of reactions. Redox reaction. Let us see one by one. First of all, we are going to see the combination reaction. What is the combination reaction? Look here. Combination reaction means when two reactant combined to form a product, it is called a combination reaction. When two reactant, the reactant may be the compound, maybe they are element. If they combined each other to form a new compound or the new substances, that is known as the combination reaction. Here we see the one example here, that is the calcium oxide react vigorously with water to produce the slag lime. That is calcium hydroxide releasing a large amount of heat here. Let's see the equation. Calcium oxide means CaO plus water H2O. These two compounds react with each other. Calcium oxide is also a compound and the water is also a compound. They combined each other. They combined each other to form the new product by the name calcium hydroxide. We call it as a slagged lime also. When they combined each other, when the calcium oxide and the water combined with each other, they release the heat. We can see another example of the combination or reaction, that is the calcium plus sulfur to form the calcium sulfide. Calcium is an element, sulfur is an element. They combined each other to form a new product, that is the calcium sulfate. This is the combination. We see here the calcium and sulfur combined each other to form a new compound. The definition is also says the same thing. When the two reactant means they may be the compound, they may be the element. When the two reactant combine to form a new product, we can see here the calcium hydroxide is also a new product and calcium sulfide is also a new product formed by the combination of respective elements or the respective compounds here. In the first reaction we see the CaO, that is calcium oxide, combines with water H2O to form calcium hydroxide. In the second equation we see that calcium combined with sulfur to form the calcium sulfate. This is known as the combination reaction. If we move further, there is another one reaction, another one chemical reaction we see here, that is the exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction is the reaction which release the heat along with the formation of the product. It means when the two reactant combined with each other, while two reactant combining with each other, they released the heat. That is known as exothermic chemical reaction. We see here one example before, that is the calcium oxide combined with water to form the calcium hydroxide. While the calcium hydroxide is forming, it releases the heat. It releases the heat, that is known as the exothermic reaction. The definition says that a reaction in which released heat along with the formation of a product. It means calcium oxide plus water, these are the two reactant combining with each other with releasing of a heat or liberating the heat to form a new compound, that is the calcium hydroxide, that is known as the exothermic chemical reaction. We see the burning of natural gas. When the natural gas is burned in the presence of oxygen, it releases the heat, and as well as we get the light, some amount of light also. That is the natural gas when burned in the presence of oxygen. It gives heat also. Okay, this is the exothermic reaction. We can take the example of the calcium oxide plus water. While it forming the, when it will give the product of a calcium hydroxide, they release the heat. This is also an example of the exothermic reaction. And next, that is the endothermic reaction. Reaction are those reaction in which heat is absorbed. In exothermic reaction, heat is liberated, heat is formed, heat is come out from the reaction. But in the endothermic reaction, heat is absorbed. We can take the example, during the digestion, the food is broken down into the simpler substances. Whatever we eat the food, we get the rice, we take the potatoes, we take the rice, something, some exam, etc. and etc. Vegetable, maybe the vegetables, we eat the pakoras, we eat the chapatis, we eat something else. At the time of a digestion, the food is broken down into the simpler substances. Means whatever I consume, whatever I eat in the stomach bag, it is broken down into the simpler substances. The digestion of the food is start from the mouth. In the mouth, we are going to chew the food particles. Mixing with the saliva, we are going to break the food particles. When we swallow it, the food reaches our stomach. If further digestion take place in the stomach by the liberation of the enzymes, that is the second extra knowledge. Here we can going to see that then the all enzymes start to break down the food particles into the simpler substances. If we eat rice and the potatoes, they contains the carbohydrate. These carbohydrates converted into glucose. The glucose combined with oxygen present in the cell of our body. The converted glucose combined with oxygen which is present in our cell body and provides energy to our body to perform the different activities. This is an endothermic reaction. It means here heat is absorbed here. We can see the example of the photosynthesis process. The plants are going to prepare their own food by using the several substances from the nature. Sunlight is also the substances. It means the heat which is released from the sun is absorbed by the leaves. By absorbing that heat, the plants prepare their own food. This is the example of the endothermic reaction. We are going to cook the egg. Egg absorb the heat from the pan to cook itself. That is known as example of a endothermic reaction. Isn't it? Endothermic reaction means in the reaction which heat is absorbed, heat is gained. That is known as the endothermic reaction. Next, we see the endothermic reaction and exothermic reaction. We see here endothermic reaction which absorb the heat from the other sources. Exothermic reaction means which released the heat from reaction. There is a difference between the endothermic reaction and exothermic reaction. Next point, next reaction is the decomposition reaction. What is the decomposition reaction? When a product is break up into its constituents, the reaction is termed as a decomposition reaction. It means we take an example here that for the decomposition reaction there is a reactant A and B. When the reaction take place, the A is get separated from B and B is get separated from A. These are the products. They split with each other. They separate with the constituents. This is known as a decomposition reaction. It means when a product is break up into its constituent. It means AB is the constituent of a compound. They split each other. They break up with each other to form the different products. One is the A, another one is the B. This is known as the decomposition reaction. Here we see the decomposition reaction examples also. zinc carbonate. When we heat it, ZnCO3. When we heat ZnCO3, they split each other. One side zinc oxide, another side carbon dioxide. ZnO plus CO2. They get separate. We can see in the example here, zinc and carbon dioxide get separate from each other. This is nothing but a decomposition reaction. It means the product is break up into its constituents. AB is the product here, but when decomposition reactions take place, they split, they break up into A and B products. We can take the example of water also. When there is a decomposition reaction take place between the water molecules, then what hydrogen will get separate and oxygen will get separate. This is known as a decomposition reaction. Okay. Next point, electrolytic decomposition. The another name of this reaction is electrolysis. By these activities, we come to know that what is the electrolysis process or the electrolytic decomposition reaction. We have to perform an experiment. For the experiment, we required the plastic mug, we required the test tubes, we required water, we have to take 2 rubber crocs, and we have to take the 2 graphite rods. They may be known as the electrodes here, and 1 battery of 6 volt, and we have to take the wire to perform these activities. These are the apparatus to perform this electrolysis experiment. Now we will follow this procedure here. First we have to take the plastic mug and we have to drill 2 holes at its base. You can see in this example or in the figure, there is a 2 hole below the mug here. After drilling the 2 hole at the base of that mug or a jug, fit rubber stopper in these holes. The drilled hole have to close by the 2 rubber corks here, or we can say the rubber stoppers, and connect and insert an carbon electrodes in these rubber stopper as shown here. We see here there are the 2 rubber stopper below the mug here. At the base of the mug, we have to insert 2 carbon electrodes or the graphite rods, and connect these electrodes to the 6 volt battery. We can see these 2 rods are connected to the 6 volt battery here, and fill the mug with the water such that electrodes are merged in water. Means until the electrodes will merge, we have to fill the mug, and add a few drop of sulfuric acid also, and 2 test tubes filled with water and inverted them on 2 carbon electrodes. We have to take the test tube filled with the water and we have to invertly put on the electrode them. Them are electrodes. Switch on the current and leaves apparatus undisturbed for the some time. After connecting every apparatus with each other, and we have to on the switch of a battery, and we have to leave the experiment without disturbing for a few minutes or the some time. We see some bubbles are going to collect in the test tubes here. These bubbles displace the water in a test tube. The gas is nothing but the collected gas or the gas which is collected in the test tube, which is displaced by the water. It is the hydrogen gas, and in another side there is a oxygen gas. By this example we can conclude that when this experiment is conducted, we can displace the hydrogen and oxygen from water. This is also, we can say, the electrolysis process or the electrolytic decomposition reaction. This is also decomposition reaction only, but it is the electrolytic decomposition reaction. We see in the figure here, one test tube the oxygen is collected, in another the hydrogen is collected. Okay, we move further. Next one is that displacement reaction. What is the displacement reaction? When a element displaces another element from its respective compound of lower reactively, it is said to be the displacement reaction. Here we can see the example of a zinc plus hydrochloric acid to form the zinc chloride plus hydrogen. Here zinc replaced the hydrogen. In the product we see that the zinc is replaced by the hydrogen. It means zinc is going to combine with chlorine to form the zinc chloride. This is only known as the displacement reaction, where one element is displaced by another element of its respective compound. It means respective compound means the reactant which is they going to react with each other. For example, we are going to take here zinc is a reactant and the hydrochloric is also the reactant. The reactants going to combine with each other. When they form a reaction, zinc is replaced by the hydrogen. In the product we see zinc chloride is formed plus hydrogen is liberated. Here zinc is replaced by hydrogen is replaced by zinc. This is the replacement reaction. Displacement reaction means element going to replaced by its respective compound elements of a compound. This is the displacement reaction. If we see the double displacement reaction in which there is an exchange of ions between the reactants, is called double displacement reaction. Here they are going to interchange their ions. The interchanging of ions is also known as the double displacement reaction. We can take an example of an AB is a reactant and CD is also a reactant. They combined with each other to form a compound named AD and BCB. Just carefully watch these bubbles or these dots. They interchanged with each other. In the left hand side we see that is the blue dot and there is a pink dot in the reactant. Another reactant is yellow and maybe it is the green. In the product side you see that the blue dot is combined with green and yellow dot is combined with pink. It means they interchanged their ions here. Interchanging or exchanging of ions between the reactants. Carefully see the example here, that is a Na2SO4 plus BaCl2. Alphabetically I am going to denote them here to get a clear idea. Na2SO4, SO4 is written in the red color, carefully keep it in mind, and BaCl2, Cl2 is written in a light blue color. When these two compounds combined with each other to form BaSO4. Look here, first SO4 is with Na2. Now when it was reacted, when it was in the product side, it means RH side, SO4 is combined with Ba by replacing the Cl2, and Na is combined with Cl. Na is combined with Cl, and SO4 and Cl2 is interchanged here with each other with their respective reactants. Simply we can say that the exchange of ions between the reactant is known as a double displacement reaction. I hope you will get clear idea by seeing these examples here. They will interchange their ions to form a new compound or a new substances or a new product, that is known as the double displacement reaction. And next one is the oxidation. Oxidation is nothing but a process in which a chemical substances changes because of the addition of oxygen. Oxidation is nothing but it is the chemical process adding of oxygen, or the addition of oxygen is known as the oxidation. We take an example as Cu plus O2 to form 2CuO, copper oxide, we can say that. Here experiment is that we take a china dish containing the copper powder, and we take the wire gauge and the tripod stand and the burner. When we start heat the copper powder, it changes into the black colored, black coated, copper start to coated with the black color. That is nothing but that addition of the oxygen here. Oxidation means it is a process in which chemical substances changes because of the addition of oxygen in the reaction where the oxygen is added, that is an oxidation process. Copper added with oxygen to form the copper oxide. Okay, this is known as the oxidation. Next one is the reduction. Reduction means losing of oxygen or gaining of a hydrogen during reaction. In oxidation, there is a addition of a oxygen. In a reduction, it losing of oxygen and gaining of a hydrogen is known as a reduction reaction. We see the example of the copper oxide. When it reducted, they get separated copper and oxygen. It means we are going to remove the oxygen from the copper oxide. We are separating the oxygen from the copper. Copper oxide split into two parts or the two products. One is the copper, another one is the oxygen. We are going to remove the oxygen from the copper. In other side, or in other hand, we can say that reduction is a reaction in which hydrogen is gained. If we are adding the hydrogen to the reaction, that is known as the reduction. If we are going to remove the oxygen from the reaction, that is known as the reduction. I hope you people will get a clear idea by these examples. Okay. Next one is the corrosion. The gradual destruction of pure metals by action of air, moisture or a chemical such as an acid on their surface is called corrosion. Corrosion means the reaction take place between air or the moisture present in the air or with chemicals like acids is known as corrosions. We can see, in the simple words we can say this is also one type of a rusting. I hope you people saw the rusting of metals. This is also one type of a rusting, we can say that, where the reaction take place with the pure iron or the pure metals with the air, moisture and chemicals such like a acid. What are the effect of corrosion? They causes damage to the car bodies, bridges. We see there are the lot of bridges in India. They will get infected. They will come under the corrosion reaction. Iron railings, ships, and all objects made up of metals. When the moisture from the atmosphere start to react with the metals present in the atmosphere, the reaction is nothing but that is the corrosions. Below picture we can see that is the example of a corrosion, the picture of a corrosion. Corrosion give very big damage to the car bodies, bridges. We see the lot of the bridges in India, they are rusted or rusting in process, in the process. Iron railings, ships, they get rusted because of a corrosion take place. The corrosion of iron is a serious problem in nowadays. Why? Because we are going to spend enormous amount of money on to prevent the metals or to replace these damages. Every year we are going to paint the bridges. It will spend lot of the money. We paint the ships to avoid from the rusting. That is also very expensive. Okay, the car, if the car start to get rusting, we will going to make the color for the car. This is also take a very expensive. Corrosion gives a very big damage to our metals. Here we can see the example iron nail. From iron nail, if we throw the iron nail in the atmosphere for the few days, if after few days if we see it, it's coated by some powder, brownish powder. That is nothing but the reaction took place between the moisture and that iron nail. That is the corrosion. Corrosion is nothing but the gradual, the destruction of pure metals by action of air, moisture or the chemical reaction. Okay, next, last point of this chapter is the rancidity. When the substances containing oil, fat are exposed to air, they get oxidized and become rancid, due to which their smell, their taste and color changes. This process is known as the rancidity. If we take the bread, if we keep the bread for 2 days or 3 days in the atmosphere or in the from out of the cover, we see slowly after 2 days we see the some fungus are starting to grow on the bread, and the smell of that bread is also changed. If we eat that bread, we come to know that the taste of bread is also changed, and it start to give some unpleasant smell to us. Means the substances which contains the oil, the substance which contain the oil and fat, when we expose to it to air, they start to oxidize and become rancid. Due to the rancid, they start to smell, they change their taste, and they change their color also. In example, we see here the bread which is changed its color by to black. Black means black or some greenish color. It means that the some fungus start to grow on the bread because it is exposed to atmosphere or the moisture of a atmosphere. When the bread is exposed to the atmosphere, it start to oxidize itself and become rancid. It changes its smell, it changes its taste, it changes its color also. I hope you come to know that when your mother is going to keep some food items for a day in the kitchen, in next day while you are going to the kitchen, you smell some unpleasant smells. You will going to ask your mother, something is smelling in kitchen, and your mom come and say the food which she kept on the kitchen floor, it is oxidized. It changed its color and it start to give some unpleasant smell, and the taste of that food is totally changed here. That is nothing but rancidity. Rancidity is nothing but oxidized in air, or when substance is kept exposed to the air, it start to oxidize. There are the two type of rancidities, that is, one is the hydrolysis, another one is the oxidation. There are the two type of rancidities. One is the hydrolysis, another one is the oxidation. These are the two type of rancidity. If you people like this class, please subscribe the channel. Those who are the new for this channel, please subscribe this channel and like and share it for with your friends. I request you, please subscribe the channel. I hope you people are understanding my language. We will discuss further some points in the next classes regarding the different classes. We are going to take from 6 to 10 only science subjects here. These videos will help you in the competitive exam also. Those who are facing for the FDAs, SDAs and etc., some PDOs or some other competitive exams, and for CET and TET, this video will help you to solve the questions from the CET question paper and TET question paper. Please subscribe the channel and like and share. Thank you everyone. I hope you people are enjoying my class. Thank you very much.